This is episode 166, Life Lessons from the Diamond, what coaching my son's baseball team taught me about success. Welcome to Alive by Design. My name is Blake Mallon, and we're here to bring you inspiring people, principles, and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. Open your mind and let's dive in. Hey guys, before you listen to the podcast, I just want to drop in and say I appreciate you for being here, and I'm super excited about this new Walk With Me series. These are solo episodes where I take some time in the middle of my morning run through the Santa Monica Mountains to share some inspired ideas and thoughts on my mind and heart. If you want to join me for any of these conversations live, you can catch me many mornings on my Facebook page, facebook.com/blakemallon.page. Would love to see you there. Love you guys. Enjoy the episode. Walk with me. So it's coming to the end of baseball season in our household. My son Grayson, 7 years old. He's in what we call Shetland in this league. It's the level pass T-ball. Bunch of kindergarten, first graders. Got this cool little Blue Flame Louisville Slugger spring action machine pitch. And it's a riot. Been having fun helping coach Grayson's team. And beyond just enjoying him going through the experience and the process and learning and just getting outside and throwing the ball around, tossing some pitches, I can't help but see the parallel in the lessons that we learn. Yeah, in the sport of baseball, but probably in most team sports that are applicable to the game of life. And it's an interesting perspective because it's natural, I think, to go through this process with my son and reflect on me growing up. Baseball was a sport I played from age 5 all the way through high school. I guess it was the sport I played the longest out of any sports. It was a sport my dad played. It was in the family. I mean, it's the American pastime. It doesn't get much more Americana than baseball. And I can't help but go through the process and then think back and reflect back with such a different lens on my own experience. And then do my best, obviously, to project forward. And yeah, make it about the game and learning and growing and getting better. But also using it as an opportunity, as with all things, to instill lessons, principles, a foundation that can help my son in everything, right? On and off the field. So I want to talk about some of those things that I find myself coaching and then in my head smirking, because whether you're a baseball fan, a baseball player, you have kids who play or don't, I think you'll appreciate the analogy and the story, and I think they're lessons that we can apply every day in all that we do in the game we're playing. So right now, my son, because it's only Shetland, I mean, he's just getting started. They practice one day a week. They have one game a week. And I do my best to be home and present and able to take him to both and spend time. And I'm proud to say I've done a pretty good job of that this season. You know, all time is quality time you don't get back, right? And there's always situations and circumstances, priorities we have to make, but I think when at all possible, time with our kids goes fast. So I try to do my best. And on the ride over, every time I find myself telling my son 3 things before we get out of the car. Say, okay, today, what are we gonna do? Number 1, we're gonna have a positive attitude. I know, Dad. Number 2, we're gonna hustle. We are gonna hustle today. Okay. And number 3, we're gonna have some fun. And it's to the point where he pretty much has that memorized. Okay, Dad. Sometimes I have him tell me. And I think those are 3 things I give to him and I remind him before and after. Kind of sets the frame or the perspective for the day. Positive attitude, because we can control that. Right? We can't control everything that happens to us. We can't control everything that's going to happen in the game. We can't control how we're going to play. So is life. Right? We can't control all our circumstances. We can't control our environment as much as we try to, as much as we cling to, as much as we want to, as much as we hate not being able to. It's all still the truth. But we can control the attitude by which we approach this roller coaster of our day-to-day. And having a positive attitude sets the frame, the lens for what we're looking for. If you think positive things are going to happen, you're more likely to see the positive things when they happen. It's like setting your radar, right? Your scope to find the things that are working for you every single day. And we control that. We control that. Having a positive attitude, showing up with that lens. Why not? You have nothing to lose. Literally everything to gain by flipping that switch. So I send my son in with that lens. Hey, we can control our attitude no matter what. I think that's true in everything we show up to. Hustle. And hustle today, you know, back when I was growing up, like that was the word for baseball. You gotta hustle. You gotta hustle. Be the first on the field. Be the first off the field. Coach needs something. You gotta hustle. Miss a ball. You gotta hustle. Now today, it's like hustle has an even greater meaning. It's become this mainstream tribute almost to entrepreneurship, celebrating the grind, what it takes, right? The grit, the resilience, the go, the fortitude, right? The hustle. Gary Vee's done a great job making that word so top of mind today. For me, that word started in baseball. You know, I was fast growing up, right? I wasn't the biggest kid ever, as you can imagine. I wasn't the tallest kid. I wasn't the strongest kid. You know, I wasn't the best at you know, in any sport or every sport. But I was fast. And beyond being fast, I hustled. Always out hustled. Don't know where that came from. Probably good coaches in my life. Maybe my parents, you know, influence. And as far back as I can remember that, hey, if I was going to show up, I was going to hustle. I was going to be the first on, the first off, the first to grab my mitt, the first to hit the batter's box. I was always going to hustle. I remember doing baseball camps at Cal Lutheran University. For those of you guys in Southern California, in the summer, we had a chance to play with college kids and pros. And that's what I did for my summer times, is go to baseball camp. And they would give specialty awards at the end of the camp. And one of those awards was the Hustle Award. And I still have the blue signed glove and a baseball and the trophies year after year, because I would get the Hustle Award. So I want to instill that into my son, not because of me and it's what I did, but because I think that has served me in life. Always being able to show up, right? Give my all, right? Hustle in business, you know, in things I'm passionate about, in work. And again, it's something you can control. You may not be the fastest, you may not be the first, but you giving your hustle is entirely within your control. And you know what? People notice that. People see that. People recognize that. People acknowledge that. It earns a respect. And that type of hustle in life gets you further faster. It gets you further faster, regardless of where your natural or innate talent begins with, in everything. So I pass that word on to my son before every game. I go, hey, we're going to hustle. We're going to hustle. He's still working on that. Sometimes he remembers, sometimes he forgets. Sometimes he's the first. Sometimes he's stuck in the dugout trying to find his hat, as all the kids can never seem to find their correct hat or their correct glove in the dugout at this age. But it's a lesson that I give to him, and it's a lesson I give to you. I think in everything we do, we can control how we show up. We can control the hustle that we give, right? Hustle is a mindset. It's not just about our physical ability. It's really about the mindset that we take, the approach that we take with the ability we have. And then fun, because you got to have fun, right? It's especially now more than ever in sports and in life. I showed up before this season. This is the first year that Grayson's playing here in Pacific Palisades baseball. I mean, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous facilities, well-run program, intense. And we showed up to tryouts. Yes, there were tryouts for 7-year-olds for Shetland. And he got to one station where they were breaking out the stopwatch to time their 50-yard dash. Yes, they were timed as 7-year-olds. And I'm like, man, this is going to be a level up from the T-ball in Santa Monica last year. And, it's great because it challenges people to raise their standard. It teaches people to compete with themselves. And it's real in life. I mean, the reality is we do measure ourselves so we can have a baseline to improve and grow. It's just the facts, whether you like it or dislike it, agree or disagree. It's a reality. So I think it was great, but we got to remind ourselves within all of it, one of the main outcomes, one of the main objectives is just to enjoy the process, right? It's to have fun. If we're not having fun, what's the point? Especially at my son's age, but I think at all ages and everything, you got to have fun. You got to have fun in the game. So I remind him, hey, we're going to have fun out there. And I remind all of you, regardless of the season you're in right now with your life, your business, your career, your profession, your relationships, your passions, we got to make sure we're having fun in what we're doing, right? We have to make sure we're enjoying the journey along the way. If we're not having fun, we are missing the point. Don't play the if-then game, right? If this happens, then I'll be happy. If this happens, right, then I'll smile. If this happens, then it'll be great. If this happens, the if-then, it never ends if you haven't figured that out. It's a never-ending loop. Don't put the fun at the finish line. There is no finish line. The fun has to be in the journey. You have to enjoy it along the way in the ups and the downs. You got to smile. You got to laugh. You got to enjoy the process. I know it's cliche, but having fun is a part of why we're here. Otherwise, what's the point in playing? What's the point in playing? So those are the three things I share with them before we get out of the car, every game. And then through the game, there's always lessons that appear in what we're doing right on the field as the team plays. And, it's funny, obviously being at bat. It's interesting because baseball is one of the few sports, like when you're at bat, it's you versus the pitcher and everyone watching, right? It's not like there's a bunch of people on the field all moving in a different direction, like all eyes on you in that moment. I mean, that's really a lot of pressure if you think about it. I think that's what makes the game just interesting, right? It's focused. And, he started off the season having a hard time hitting off a machine pitch, coming off, experience on the tee. And we've done better right now to the point where Grayson, he's gone 2 for 2 the last couple games hitting off the machine, which is great. And, it's interesting. He's not the strongest hitter, but he's just making contact. So pretty much all his hits this year have been nice little ground balls, either to third base or second base. And he hustles, so he outruns it every time. And what's amazing is the consistency that he's building. And, you think back and you think back of who you remember in baseball, and it's usually the home run hitters, right? The big names, the ones that get up to the plate and are able to whack that thing far. Like, that's usually what gets the spotlight, right? That's usually what gets the accolades. So people love to celebrate, and that's amazing. But I also think there's merit in the consistency. I go back to myself. I can't help but reflect, and I was never the one that was able to hit it out of the park, but I was one that was able to hit it consistently down the third base line and run real fast and get on base. And I batted first and second pretty much my entire career because I was consistently able to make a contact, get a base hit. And, never got the spotlight of that fourth batter, the spotlight of that home run. But I think that consistency has helped me in life. The base hit, the ability to focus and get a base hit. Not have the need to hit it out of the park, not have the need to, get the glory, not have the need, but to consistently get up and get on base. Base hit after base hit after base hit. I look at my entrepreneurial career, and that's been the truth, right? I mean, not swinging for the fences is not about that one home run, but it's about consistently showing up to the box, swinging the bat, and making contact getting on base, getting on base, getting on base, getting on base. And you do that time and time and time again, you're going to score run after run after run after run. Consistency is king in life. It's king in business. It's king in success. You guys, consistency wins. You cannot lose if you constantly are able to get base hit after base hit after base hit after base hit in the game and life. So I'm not trying to pass that ability on to my son. If he can hit it out of the park, I want him to. I want to practice him and to help him do it. But right now I'm watching him develop a lot of the similar skill set of the power of consistency and getting on base, but not every time. Not every time. Sometimes you're out. He gets frustrated. He was talking to me yesterday after the game. He goes, Dad, what I don't like about baseball is, after 3 outs, you're out. You gotta stop batting. I go, that's the game, buddy. That's the game. There's outs. And you go, after 3 strikes, you're out. But that's okay. And I think it's a powerful lesson for him to be learning, even though he's still grasping it. I don't think he quite understands it. He definitely doesn't like it right now. But you think about the game and, you show up to the plate and you hit it 3 out of 10 times. You're a 300 batting average. 4 out of 10 times, you're a 400 batting average. If you can hit it 3 out of 10 times, you're one of the best players in the world in the professional leagues. Think about that. 3 out of 10, best in the world. 3 out of 10, all-star. 3 out of 10, consistently, Hall of Fame. 7 out of 10, out. 7 out of 10, out. Because that's the averages. You know what? That's true in life. We think we got to be 10 out of 10 batters. We think we got to be 9 out of 10 batters. And if we're not, we get down on ourselves. We limit ourselves. We're bummed on ourselves when, the best of the best are 3 out of 10, 7 out of 10 out, and you're the best of the best in the world. Apply that to what you're doing in life. Show up to the plate, take your best swings, and make a mistake, fall down, fail 7 out of 10 times, and become a Hall of Famer. That's life, right? We're so hard on ourselves chasing this perfection myth. Right? Comparing ourselves to what we think others do. Nobody's a 10 out of 10 in life. Nobody. 3 out of 10, you're a Hall of Famer. It's true in baseball. It's true in life. It's true in business, right? So be nicer to yourself, right? Give yourself a little more credit. You show up to the plate, you already won. You take the swing, you already won. You keep doing it, you're going to get consistent. You get out 7 out of 10 times, you're still a Hall of Famer. And as people get hits and get on base and get out, we're teaching the kids to celebrate everybody when they're walking into the dugout. Celebrate them when they score the run. Celebrate them when they get the hit. Celebrate them when they make a mistake. Celebrate them when they mess up, right? Pick them back up. You can do this. You got the next one. Head back in the game. And so often we don't celebrate each other's victories because they trigger us to be jealous or envious or compare ourselves, so we don't acknowledge and celebrate people for the joy that they should be experiencing. Why not? Someone has a victory, celebrate them authentically and genuinely. Have joy for their joy. And when we make mistakes, we're so quick to criticize. We're so quick to cut down. We're so quick to dig in. We got to get better at picking people back up. Hey, head back in the game. You got the next one. You got this. Pick each other back up. Teamwork should exist not only on the field, but off the field. In all the teams, communities, relationships that we have in our life, celebrate the victories for their joy and pick people up when they fall back down. Hey, head back in the game. These are all things that you learn on the field. They're all things that my son's learning right now. And it was interesting last game. There was a moment where I'm standing on the third base line and the team's in the field, and I'm just looking and scanning the kids. And, you got someone in center field that's just in the dirt. Yeah, center field is in the dirt at this league. They're back of the diamond as their outfield, and they're just sitting down, picking rocks in the dirt. And I'm looking at, the shortstop who's facing the other direction, watching the team behind us. And, I'm looking at my son who was playing catcher for the first time. He had all the gear on. And for those of you guys that know, catchers wear a catcher's mask and they got little bars in front of their face. And I look over and my son's eyes are focused on staring at the inside of the bar. So he's staring back there cross-eyed, looking inside the mask and so entertained by what's inside the mask. And there he is, cross-eyed, more fascinated by the inside of his catcher mask than anything that's going on in the game. And I just started laughing. And you can't help but laugh. I mean, it's funny. It's bad news bears to an extreme. And it took us a long time to get out of that inning with 3 outs. And as the kids are coming in, the head coach pulls everybody. He says, okay, guys, here now. Pulls the kids together. Get here now. And in a stern voice says, guys, you can make mistakes. You can let the balls go under your legs. You know, we're out here to have fun. We're not worried about the mistakes. But we need to focus. We need to pay attention. We're all out here, you know, toward the end of the season. We got to be focused on the game. We don't have time or patience for lack of focus. You can make mistakes, but there's no reason you can't be paying attention and focused on the game. And that was the first kind of hard talk, hard voice with the kids. And you saw they stood up taller, and that was needed. You know, so often in our life, especially now more than ever, we get distracted by everything around us, the dirt beneath our feet, the mask in front of our eyes, the people playing at the other field. Like in our life every single day, social media has exaggerated this, right? There's distraction on demand everywhere we go. Like the ability to focus on the game we're playing, on your role in that moment, the position you're in. Because that's what matters. You're not going to play your best at this moment in time if you're not focused on the now. And that's true for everything. What are you focused on right now? What position are you in right now? What game are you playing right now? What team are you on right now? And are you focused on what comes next? Are you focused on what's around the corner? Are you focused on the play you're about to make? Are you focused on what you're going to do if this happens or that happens? Are you focused, or are you distracted by the dirt and the mask and the team and everything around? I think that's such an important lesson. I'm glad the head coach did that, because I personally believe focus now more than ever is a superpower, because it's harder than ever. Focus is a differentiator because it's harder than ever. I think that's a skill set that's never going to become obsolete, the ability to engage, pay attention, and focus on the task at hand, to give it your all, to do your best. So those are some conversations I've been having with my son, some conversations from the baseball field. Sorry for the over baseball analogy today, but hey, it's what's happening in my household. We made the playoffs. We made the playoffs. Yeah, every team makes the playoffs, but don't worry about that. We made the playoffs. To see what happens, follow my story. I can't help but post some things. But hopefully you guys take some lessons today. And whether you're a baseball player, a sports player, your kids are in the sport and you're experiencing the same kind of reflection, or you're none of that, but right now you're playing a game of life. Hopefully we take the lessons that I'm passing on to my son and I serve them as a nice little reminder for how we can show up every day and instill some of these principles. Have a positive attitude, hustle with where we go, have some fun. Consistency is king. It's not about perfection. We can make mistakes, celebrate others' victories, pick each other up, and let's focus on the game that we're playing so that we can be the best we can be. Pretty gray today. Here's a view from the top. And here's to continuing to show up every day and just pursue our own better, right? It's not about the milestones. It's not about the achievements. Those are nice. We'll collect them along the way, but it's about who we're becoming in the process as we chase what we're really meant to do, who we're really meant to be, the impact we're really meant to make. Until the next time, take care, everybody.
Hey guys, one last thing. I'm super excited that this new podcast, Alive by Design, just went live. You see, I designed the show to bring you inspired thoughts and fascinating conversations with the world's most impactful people, to provide transformative principles and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. And I'd love for you to help me spread the word now. Simply subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on this platform right now. So if I've ever given you value, please do me this personal favor and go subscribe now. And if you found today's episode helpful in any way, make sure you share this with at least one friend today. You have the power right now to change someone's day. So send them a text message with a link to alivebydesign.com, or simply copy and paste the link right from this podcast platform. Who's one person you know right now that you want to see succeed, that you want to see grow, that you want to see feel more alive? Shoot them a text with your largest takeaway from today and be a light in their day. And if you were referred here by a friend, make sure you shoot them a text back and say thank you. I'd love to hear from you directly on what you got from today's podcast. So if you're up for it, drop by my Instagram at Blake Malin and shoot me a DM. And as always, thank you for showing up. I'm grateful for you, and I hope our time together today in some small way helped you feel a little more alive. Until next time.